Hey guys, and here we are back with another Android TV box, which on this particular case will be the last one for this season 2015-2016 before I release in a couple of weeks or so my final video about the Android TV boxes for this season. Now what I've got here is the MX3G, and it is, as a spoiler alert if I can say so, everything that I was expecting from it. This is a budget Android TV box and it has a small tiny, if I can say so, it was a surprise, but I will disclose that in just a few seconds, which it has a positive thing but also a negative thing about that surprise. Now that being said guys, let's go straight for the video. And we are back. So here we are with the MX3G that features the Amlogic S812 Soc, which is a Soc very well known here on the channel. It has 2 GB of DDR3 Ram and 8 GB of flash storage with Android Loliipop 5.1.1. So the last machine that we saw on the MX3 was with Android KitKat, and this one has Android Loliipop. Now regarding the unboxing experience, very quickly, once we open the package, we will find the MX3 on the top, protected by a plastic envelope, a power adapter, a OTG cable, HDMI cable, infrared remote control, and also a quick user guide, which on my opinion it's not necessary, but we never know. Now regarding the design of the MX3, nothing has changed. It is the same design, which I have to be honest, I really enjoyed this, and if you follow the channel you know this, I really enjoyed this simple design, especially the button on the top. Now for those that don't know and are here for the first time, just really quickly, on the on the right hand side, 2 USB 2.0 ports, 1 micro SD card slot, and also a OTG port. At the back, a power input jack, AV out, gigabit Ethernet connection, HDMI and optical output. On the bottom, a rubberized plastic along with the cooling vents right over here, and then finally at the top, as I said, the MX logo with that really nice power button that I really enjoy. Once again, it's really well located for several reasons, one of which is to have the light on the top so that it will not hurt our eyes, even if we put these kind of machines on our bedroom. But I've said this so many times, so I will skip that. Now regarding the launcher, and I'm sure that I'm showing on screen, it is the same launcher. We have seen it many times before, so I'm not going to waste any time here, but just a message for those that are new, we can install any launcher, so even if you don't like it, you can just browse around, choose one, and then install on your machine, and you will be ready to go. Now regarding the remote control, included, it is an infrared remote control. Once again, for those that follow the channel, you already know my opinion. For those that don't, I won't waste any time. I will post a link here on the screen right now so you can follow and check a video that I made a few months ago regarding remote controls and what I feel about them and what I feel it's the best option for any Android TV box. So just go and check that one out. Now, one of the surprises that I had, it is the online updates. Well, it's not really a surprise because that was the feedback from the community, which thumbs up for all of you that keep on giving information. But one thing that I noticed is that the online updates are here, which is great, but they are not 100% effective. And what I want to mean with this is that the box will update automatically, not by me pressing a button to update. There is that option, but what I've experienced for these 2 weeks or so that I've been playing around with the MX3G is that once I'm playing around with it and doing anything, the machine decides to update itself, and it will update. And this can be a bit boring if you are in the middle of a movie and then the machine decides to update itself. So it happened to me at least twice. I was not watching a movie, but I was playing with it, and suddenly it says I'm updating, and then it starts the update and shuts down and reboots and so on and so forth. So it's a bit tricky. It is a good thing to have online updates. I love it on any machine, but it's also a bit awkward that the machine decides that for me when to do the update or not, which I found to be a little bit crazy. Nonetheless, let's move on regarding the usual benchmarks that we do to these machines. And starting with the speed test, we got 26 megabytes on reads and 7.4 megabytes on write, which is nothing special here. It's a budget machine, we can't forget that. Then the network speed test on Wi-Fi, we got 40 megabits of download and 20 on upload, and on the Ethernet connection, 100 download and 20 on upload, which is the maximum at this moment of my connection here. Now on Geekbench 3 we got 528 on single core score and 1331 on multi-core score, Antuntu with roughly 35,000, 3D Mark score, iStorm Extreme 6,000, and then Epic Citadel with 48.1 frames per second on average score. Now if you recall, about 1 year ago I did review the original, if I can say so, well, the first MX3 with 1 gigabyte of RAM, Android KitKat 4.4, etc, etc, and it had some crazy results. It had the same CPU that we've got, or not the same, no, it had the Amlogic S812, which is very similar to the S812, but the point is that back then it had some great results on benchmarks, which is something that I always try to pass to that side of the screen. Benchmarks is not everything. I do them so that we can compare, but it's not everything. So back then we had those crazy results, very similar to what we've got right now, but we didn't have a great experience, especially on games, which is the next department that we are talking about. This time with the 2 gigabytes of RAM, especially last year we only had 1, but this year with the 2 gigabytes of RAM and with the better implementation of the firmware, my experience on gaming was flawless. So I did experience a few games, especially Respawnables and Asphalt Airborn, which are 2 of my favorite games, and the machine behaved perfectly. I had no issues at all. And once again, last year with the MX3, 1 gigabyte of RAM with KitKat, the experience was not so flawless. Even with games that are not so demanding, we had some issues. And my review is still up, so you can just check it out. This year, great, as I was expecting, 2 gigabytes of RAM and the Amlogic S812, everything just went fine. Now, moving to the video playback, which is one of the things that most people concerns about these type of devices. It comes with Kodi version 16 and everything runs smoothly. Everything that I did test runs smoothly. So the first test, I always try my own library of MKV Blu-ray files, 1080 resolution, more or less 25-30 gigs each file running through my network, and the ones that I tried, everything was smooth. Those I cannot show, but I can show you Buch Buny Tears of Steal and Sintel samples through the Creative Commons 3.0 license, and these samples are heavy, some of them really heavy, up to 4K resolution with H264 and H265 codecs, and it was flawless. The playback even, and I'm trying to show that on screen as well, when I fast forward and rewind like crazy on my tests, which I tend to exaggerate, but the machine behaved really well. And once again, reminding that everything is on the network and nothing locally on USB or so. So everything is coming from the network and works great. Regarding the video playback, unfortunately I still can't test any audio pass-through, so that's that's the best that I can do. Now, moving along to something which is very important here, especially those that follow the channel know, which is the mirroring and streaming. Now, with my iPhone I could mirror and stream, which I can do with a lot of machines. But the second test, which is to mirror my wife's iMac to one of these boxes, the machine could handle everything smoothly. And this is a bit more demanding test. It has a bit more higher bitrate, if I can say so, in terms of streaming. So we have all our photo library on that iMac with and we usually play slideshows on the fly to our living room through a Android TV box, which is how I use it. And the machine, and I'm sure that you are seeing on screen, the machine just behaved really well. My tests were, as usual, the magazine style, sliding panels and vintage prints from the Photos app which is installed on our iMac. And that is it, guys. Now, in conclusion, things that I did like the most on this machine were the design itself, and this is of course nothing new, but I still like it, especially that really well located power button on the top. I really like it. Also, it is rooted from factory. It has a smooth video playback on Kodi and capable of streaming and mirroring from our computers, which is great for us. Now, lastly, it has online updates. Now, on the things that I did like the least, it has exactly to do with the online updates, which is they start without the user action, so they have their own I don't know their own way of starting, which is something that can be a bit annoying when you are watching a movie or something like that. But this was the only thing that I did found that I did like the least on this machine. This is a budget machine. Some of you know, well, most of you probably know that MX boxes are one of the nicest Android TV boxes that I've found so far in terms of budget and performance, and the MX3G is still there. It's not well, I'm gonna leave that for the next video, which will be the closing. And that is it, guys, regarding the MX3G review. Hope that this video was helpful in some way, and if it was, don't forget that usual thumbs up. My name is Roberto George, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.